Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be looking at Thorchain's RUNE. This is going to be a lower time frame video. Check out our higher time frame video up above if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, before we jump into the lower degree counts, we're going to go over some of the higher time frame stuff. So within our higher time frame idea, what we were saying is that this whole move here could actually just be a bigger corrective pattern, in which case what we're looking for is the potential to come back up into this 565 to this 274 level, where we could be looking at this move as a bigger flat correction, looking for a push up here before this continuation to the downside. Now, if we did see a move up in this way, what we'd then be anticipating is a push back to the downside afterwards, where our minimum requirement off of this lower level here where we currently are would actually be here at this 37.53. So if we do start to reject down here directly, I would be looking out for this. This would also align quite nicely with coming back into this channel, so we'll have to keep an eye on this if we do start to see price looking to break down from this point. Now within this count, what we'd then be saying here is that this is a bigger flat correction, in which case what we'd say is that this is our A wave, this is our B wave, and we're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking for this fifth wave to the upside. Now the typical zone that we would look for here for this as a C wave would be here between this 1 to 1, which we've already hit. So we need to be very careful with this idea that if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we do complete here, we could actually start to see a break to the downside. Now, if we take this low, this would confirm the idea of the flat here, and then what we'd be saying is that we're looking for that C wave down. However, for as long as this low is in place, we could potentially still see 3 waves down and then still see continuation to the upside as long as we continue to hold this low. So we're going to go over that more bullish case in a second. Now, if we are looking at this as a C wave, the way that I'm currently looking at this is that internally here, we're actually going to come down onto the 4 hourly. Now, the way that I'm currently looking at this is that this whole move here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're looking for this fifth wave. Now, the most common target area for this fifth wave is this yellow target box up here at this 243 to this 217. Some other targets would be this 0.382 of the wave 1 to 3, which has been hit, as well as the 1 to 1 of the wave 1, which has also been hit. So we need to just be very careful with this idea here that, you know, if we do start to reject down in a bigger way here, and we start to see price looking to break down in 5-wave structure, we could potentially look to lose this 4th wave area, and then we'd be looking for the possibility of a retracement. Now, like I said, we could either see this move complete, get a 3-wave move down, and then look for continuation to the upside. If we do manage to hold this level here of this 0.786 to this 50%, which would be here at this 124 to this 0.95, then potentially we could look for the possibility here that we could be setting up for a bigger 5-wave move. Now, if we do see something like this where we complete this, we get 3 waves down, the next thing I'm going to be looking for is whether we get continuation. If we just get continuation up here to this 1-to-1 level, this would mean that this is potentially a corrective structure, and then we could look for continuation to the downside after this point. However, if we do see 5 waves up here, even if we do only move up to this 1-to-1, there is always a potential that this could form another 1-2, and then we could be looking for this wave 3 to progress from that point. So this is why at the moment here, what I want to see is I want to see this 5-wave move complete. And then what I want to see is how we react afterwards. 3 waves back to the downside could mean then that we have an additional rally. If we start to get 5-wave structure down, then this would align more with that idea of the C wave. So it's going to be very important moving forward to see how we react in this zone. So now within this idea, what I'm saying is that we have our 4th wave into here, and that we are actually currently working on this 5th wave. So the way that I'm currently looking at this structure is that internally here, this is 1, 2, and then we have this as 1, 2, 3, and now it is possible we could argue this is 4 and 5, and this is completed, and then we would be looking for a bigger retracement here in this white 4th wave. Now, if this is the case, what we'd be expecting is a move down towards this 184 to this 169 level, and what we'd be saying then is that potentially we're going to see something like this as an ABC, and then I'd be anticipating another move up and then a move to the downside, looking for a reaction back down, possibly towards this previous 4th wave over here, which would be at this $1.70 level. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that zone if we do look to actually continue down. However, it is possible that this could be 1, 2, 3, and that actually what we're forming here is a triangle, and we still have this 5th wave to the upside to play out. Now, within this idea of the triangle, what I would be saying is that internally here, what we have is that this is A, B, C, D, and now we're looking for this E wave. So if we hold this 185 and we see price do this, where this is A, B, and C, and we get another push back down to this trend line. We can potentially break this and then look to come back in, but effectively I wouldn't really want to see us lose this 185. A short wick and then a break back above would be fine, but if we break down past this A wave, then it would completely invalidate the idea of the triangle. If we do hold this idea of a triangle and this trend line, what we could then see is that potentially we still have another leg to the upside here towards this 204 to this 198 level. We have already come up towards this 198 zone. This $2 area could be quite an interesting zone if we do see another push up here as a psychological level. It would also be looking to potentially interact with this wick that we've got over here, which was towards this $2.02. So going to be keeping an eye on that level as a potential double top there. Now, if we do see a move up in that way, where this effectively becomes a triangle and we get a fifth wave, what I'll be then looking for is this idea of coming back down into this white target box. So if we do see price looking to move back down here, then we would be anticipating having another 5-wave move to the upside, and depending exactly where we complete here, we could be looking for somewhere between this sort of 218 to this 207 level, depending on how deep we come here. If we had to go down deeper, this would actually push the target higher up, and this would then be looking for this 223 to this 209. So we'll have to keep an eye on this to see if we do start to get this retracement, whether we continue to hold this level. Invalidation of this idea of a 5-wave move would come by dropping back down below this 162 zone. But even if we do drop down below that level, I would still be looking out for the potential here that internally we could still have something else going on here. If we want to count this move slightly different, we could potentially argue there's a triangle here, in which case what we would then be saying is that this could either just be the fifth wave and we look to break down, which is why I was saying we need to be careful of that 1-to-1 target, or alternatively we get this as a wave 1 and then we see a 3-wave move to the downside. Now if we were looking at that idea of the 3-wave move down, what I'd then be looking for would be this B wave area to hold. We wouldn't want to lose 154, and then what we'd be saying is that once this is completed, if it hasn't completed into this high, we'd be looking for a bigger 3-wave pattern to the downside, looking to retest some of these levels. Now the golden pocket area would be quite interesting because it would be looking to actually retest these highs here, so we'll be keeping an eye on that level at that 163 if we do start to see a retracement here, and then looking for that potential of continuation up. But at the moment I'm still treating this as 1, 2, 3, looking for 4 and then 5. If we do complete that move, then we're gonna have to watch how we react from that point to see how, you know, this could look to actually play out. Now we also previously discussed the idea that there could be extension within these waves. Now I'm still open to this interpretation because of the fact that we can potentially count this as 1, 2, 1, 2. Now the problem is that typically speaking, this next wave 1 is not going to be as large as this, but if there is extension, this can sometimes happen. So I'm keeping an eye on this idea that if we do have this as another wave 2, we could potentially look for this as 1, 2, 1, 2, and then what we'd be looking for potentially within here would be another 1, 2, and then seeing this develop as a 5-wave move. So that's how I'd want to see this play out. It is possible that this could just move directly up here, but structure wise it would make a lot more sense that if we do get this complete, we get 4th and a 5th, then we get 3 waves back to the downside, and we still hold this low. We need to just be on the lookout for this idea of the extension. If we start to see a higher volume move coming up, then it's likely that we could be within this 1.618 area, looking for our target area of this third, though obviously we're only going to get confirmation by this push up, but it's something that I'm going to just be keeping an eye on if we're looking for a much more impulsive push to the upside after this point. Coming in here and having a look at the daily CPR lines, what we can see is that these last 3 days have printed fairly sideways CPR lines. We are currently still above our central lines. We're just sitting here between this 190 and this 188. If these levels continue to hold, we could potentially see a rally up. Now today targets would be 196, 205, 212, and this level here of this 222. If however we start to lose these central lines, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to this S1 line here at this 180. If we do see something like a move down towards that 180 level, this could align with the fact that this is A, B, and C, and we're going to see that move down into this zone where this could be a 4th wave, and then we still look for that 5th wave to the upside. or this could become A, we get B, and then get C down. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. But if we lose this S1 target, other targets for today would be 172, 163, and this 156 to the downside. Now moving over here and having a look at the weekly pivots, what we can see is that we've actually printed higher CPR lines here. So if we do see price come down here, we do have potential to find support here at this 178, 173, and this 170 level, which would align quite nicely with that idea of this being within that fourth wave still, where effectively what we'd say here is that this move is still looking for, which what we'd be saying is this move is still looking for a move down into our yellow target box area before looking for this continuation to the upside. So going to be watching out for that zone. Now if we do look for a direct push up here, other targets to the upside this week is 204, 225, and this level here of this 255 directly above us. So we need to keep an eye on those zones. If we lose these central lines, I will be looking out for that potential of a retest of this 153 level of this S1 line lower down here. As long as this level holds, we do have potential here that we could still look to rally. But if we start to lose that zone, other targets for this week would be 123 and this 102 to the downside. So going to keep an eye on those if we do see price moving into those reaction areas. Now looking at the monthly CPR, what we can see here is that we did print a higher monthly CPR, which is a bullish sign. We did get a very tightly spread CPR, and then from this point we've seen this explosion up. So this is indicating volatility. Now if we do move up a little bit higher here above this high, we've got this line at this 203. So going to be keeping an eye on that. That would align with the idea here that this is 1 2 3 4 5, and we could see an interaction with this zone. If we do look to continue higher, 259 and this 314 are potential upside targets. If however we start to see price looking to break to the downside, I will be looking out for the 93 cents as a potential support zone, and then lower down here we have this 37 cents to the downside. Though if we're looking for that bullish counter, I wouldn't really want to see this 93 cent level get lost, otherwise the probabilities become less likely that we're going to see that continuation to the upside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.